Hey y'all, I want to do this video impromptu, and I do have some updates to do, and I had a few visions today, but I don't want to talk about all of them. I'm going to just lift up one. Um, I believe this is going to have a couple meanings, but the first thing that came to my mind was one, I should have elaborated a little bit more on the prophets healing, the true role of the prophets, and whether or not you operating in that ministry of healing or whatever. But something reminded me that I probably should have spoken more about what I found as far as information on it, because there's a lot of deception as far as healings by supposed Christians. So the vision was I saw what looked like a rounded edge. Basically, if you were to see the side of your leg from the knee down, for the most part, and I didn't know what it was, and like I said, I'm not sure if this is a fulfillment of it. I'm just going to talk about it because it prompted me. It reminded me that I needed to discuss it, discuss healing a little bit more, and I knew it yesterday when I just skipped over it. So a friend called me, and she was telling me, this is my 84-year-old, I think she's 85 now, how her leg just keeps swelling. And she mentioned this particular section of her leg from the knee to the ankle, if you will. And it reminded me, it, it made me think of the vision, in hindsight, because she called me about an hour after I had the vision. And then it reminded me how in the materials that I was reading about the prophet's healing, how the Lord may use words. He may give you some words in the spirit above these people's heads, or if you're home and you're not near that person, actually, he may give you, visions of what you need to pray for them about, or if you're actually physically laying hands on people, how the Lord can actually give you a warm, fuzzy, or warm sensation on your body so that you know what particular body part to pray for on that person. That was the second time I've actually seen that explained as how the Lord can indicate to you what needs to be prayed for. My spiritual mother also told me about that several years ago, and how the Lord can let you know what's wrong, what body parts you need to pray for a person, for perhaps their healing. So what else? I just There's a lot out there. It's said that Benny Hinn and his mentor, Catherine Kuhlman, they use the spirit of the Kundalini, activating the Kundalini in people, and as demonstrations of healing. Hypnotism, having people appear to fall out under the power of God. They start with the music that just the music, the worship music, and people. You guys, it's so much to this, but a form of hypnotism. And I remember watching a video about it because he has no documented, like nobody that's been healed they have no documentation saying that they were actually healed after whatever they do there. So you have witchcraft in the pulpits, and also from In my profession, they have all this new age stuff. They had it when I was in school: polarity therapy, reflexology, which is Eastern Chinese medicine, shiatsu, this, that, and the third. There are scientific methods that can do the same thing, but like, say for instance, which I haven't really been searching for, reflexology. Reflexology is the theory that your feet, your body is mapped out on your feet, and that by manipulating those energy paths and those particular body parts on your feet, that your those particular parts and energy pathways can be cleared and healed. But anywhere you see it advertised, they should, and mostly what I've seen they do, advertise it as the theory that these things can happen. So it's Eastern medicine. It's what is polarity therapy? We can see colors around people. We had to learn that in school. We didn't have to, but it's one of the classes that we took, so I had to pass it. But as far as participating in it, I wasn't Holy Ghost filled at the time, but I knew better not to participate in these things. We even had an evangelist that refused to do it. And opening the third eye, I think we learned about that in polarity therapy, which you should never do. I had a client, my first year out of school. She was into telekinetic therapy or telekinetic chiropractic, where you just basically telepathically or just reach your hand out and you can be adjusted, Reiki and whatever else. I did her massage, and my boss didn't tell me until afterwards that she was into this stuff, and she brought maybe attachments, or she was, she may have been possessed from dealing with all these different new age witchcraft, borderline or witchcraft practices. I got physically sick for about 15 minutes. I was physically sick for about 15 minutes, and that's when my boss told me that was what she was into, and that was those were the methods that she had used and actually did not heal her, and that's why she resorted to chiropractic and massage. That was why she was there, because it didn't work for her. My supervisor, my old boss, she went to see somebody for Reiki, and she had a bad experience, and she went back and let them put it back. One of my coworkers, she likes to practice Reiki, and she's told me about some things that she's done, and I've told her this is something you should not be dabbling with. If you have a natural healing ability and the Lord's giving you that, why mix it with something else, not of God? You guys, I've laid hands, physically put my hands on about 14,000 people, almost about 10 of them celebrities, and I haven't had that experience yet that I had the first time, aside from me picking up on somebody having an angry spirit or a hateful spirit, just a few times. But of course, I've come across some Christians, and who's, we a spirit begot spirit. We know who's who, and but I've come across some things and some people, 12, 13, 14,000 people. I've physically, at minimum, I've physically touched. So you come across different types of spirits from all over the world, and it's only by the grace of God that He's kept me, even not letting me be affected by what I was taught, something that we could have actually opted out of. They didn't tell us this, and it's a little bit more rampant these days. You're going to see it in the church. You're going to see it in supposed healing ministries. You're going to see it in the massage industry. You're going to see it in entertainment. People are offering the next new experience, and people are going to be drawn into that, and it's going to seem magical, and it's going to seem wonderful, and you may experience some things, some supernatural things, but you got to be careful, because and that's how they're sucking the young people in, drawing them to experience the next new experience. So I just want to make y'all aware of that. I said all that because of that one particular vision. I don't believe this is the full fulfillment of it. I'll come back and talk about visions, and if that one comes to pass here before tomorrow, I'll talk about it tomorrow. I do have a couple things to talk about, okay? Just won't be tonight. God bless y'all, and keep your eyes on Jesus, okay?